Good morning. If you're watching this, it means that you've successfully made it to the ICMC, checked into your hotel, maybe got a few hours of sleep, and now you're on the comfortable air-conditioned bus headed on your way to the lower 9th Ward of New Orleans. I'm sure that many of you would like to curl up in your seats, catch a few minutes of lost sleep time, but hang on as we give you valuable information about the day and how things will be run. This July 4th will be like no other, and the lives that you will impact by the work that you do today will truly make a difference. First, let's remember back in August 2005. The effects of Hurricane Katrina on New Orleans were catastrophic and long-lasting. As the center of Katrina passed east of New Orleans on August 29, 2005, winds downtown were in a Category 2 range with frequent intense gusts. The tidal surge was equivalent to about a strong Category 3 hurricane. Though the most severe portion of Katrina missed the city, hitting nearby St. Bernard and Plaquemines parishes, the storm surge caused more than 50 breaches in drainage canal levees and navigational canal levees and precipitated the worst engineering disaster in the history of the United States. By August 31, 2005, 80% of New Orleans was flooded, with some parts under 15 feet of water. Most of the city's levees were broken in one place or another. These breaches were responsible for most of the flooding, according to a June 2007 report by the American Society of Civil Engineers. As of August 2, 2006, the official number of deceased victims from Louisiana was 1,464. On September 4th, Mayor Nagin speculated that the death toll could rise as high as 10,000 after the cleanup was completed. Some survivors and evacuees reported seeing dead bodies lying in city streets and floating in still flooded sections, especially in the east of the city. The advanced state of decomposition of many corpses, some which were left in the water or sun for days before being collected, hindered efforts by coroners to identify many of the dead. There were 6 deaths confirmed at the Superdome. 4 of these were from natural causes. 1 was a result of a drug overdose, and 1 was a suicide. At the convention center, 4 bodies were recovered. 1 out of these 4 is believed to be the result of a homicide. Body collection throughout the city began on approximately September 9th. Prior to that date, locations of corpses were recorded, but most were not retrieved. Nowhere in the city was the devastation greater than in the lower 9th Ward, especially in the portion from Claiborne Avenue back. The storm surge floodwaters appear to have poured into the neighborhood from at least 3 sources. To the east, water flowed in from St. Bernard Parish, while in the west, the industrial canal suffered 2 distinct major breaches. The force of the water did not merely flood homes, but smashed or knocked off many of their foundations. A large barge came into the neighborhood through the breach near Claiborne Avenue, leveling homes beneath it as it floated in the floodwaters. Storm surge was so great that even the highest portions of the lower 9th Ward were flooded. Holy Cross School, which served as a dry refuge after Hurricane Betsy, was inundated, and even the foot of the Mississippi River levee, the area's highest point, took on some 2 to 3 feet of water. As we cross Lake Pontchartrain into the city of New Orleans, you will still see buildings that have the high water lines from the flood. You will also see buildings that have the markings that the government used to determine which houses have been checked and if any bodies have been found inside. The city has made progress in many areas, and the building in the more affluent areas and business districts has moved ahead. This has not been the case in the area that we are going to. As we enter the 9th Ward, you will see building after building that has been untouched since the storm 3 years ago. Many residents left the 9th Ward and have not returned. Their property stands abandoned to the elements and is a sad statement of loss and failure. But this is not the case for everyone. There is a strong, steadfast community that is fighting for the rebuilding of the lower 9th. Many of these property owners have been fighting to get the help that they need from the government, insurance companies, and other agencies to reclaim their land and rebuild their lives. Many of these families go back generations, and they are a proud community that wants their future to continue in the lower 9th Ward. Because of the loss and destruction of the homes, many of the lots have now been cleared of the physical structures that used to stand there. The demolition of many of these structures took place over 2 years ago. Because of legislative and insurance issues, the property owners may have, in many cases, gotten in a stalemate and are unable to rebuild on the property they own. As the fight continues, the lots that their house used to be on have become overgrown and neglected. The property owners have been threatened with local upkeep laws that state that they must maintain their property or run the risk of losing their land. For many, this is an impossible task, and they are backed into a corner with very little finances to do the maintenance that's needed. This is where we come in. A Lot to Give is our day of service put together by Hope Worldwide, along with the ICMC and other supporting organizations with the set purpose of reconditioning lots in the Lower Ninth Ward. By doing so, we'll be helping these landowners not only save their property from possible confiscation by the government, but also save needed funds that many of them don't have to recondition land and prepare it for building homes. More than anything, we also help them save their identity. Not only is today designed to reclaim the unkept property, but is also intended to bring hope to a discouraged population. We have contacted many of the families that own the properties, and they plan to join us for the day. We will honor them with cards and encouragement as they tell us their story standing on their property. We will dedicate their land in a small devotional service at the end of the day, and we will have a grand celebration as we all gather to close out our time in the Lower Ninth Ward. It is clear many of you have sacrificed to be here, and on behalf of Hope Worldwide and the families of the Lower Ninth Ward, thank you very much. Thanks also to the leadership team of the ICMC for allowing us to have this project and having the vision that a conference can be more than staying in hotels and hearing messages. It can be about changing lives in the city that they're in. Now to the details of the day. Hopefully everyone has been assigned to a team. Each team has 16 members along with a fully trained, inspiring team leader. Each bus has 3 teams on the bus, with the exception of the full-time ministry staff bus, the older guys, who have a bit different schedule for the day. Everyone should have their A Lot to Give t-shirts on, and the team leaders should be recognized by their red shirts. In regards to the work we'll be doing, some lots will be totally reconditioned with topsoil and seed. Other lots will be cleaned and improved with special projects. Your team leader has already been prepared for what to do with your lot and has spent several days this week getting ready for the task. It is very important that you stay with your team and follow the instructions given by your team leader. Our time here is short, so in order to get the job done, we must stick with the plan. As for what you'll be doing individually, the jobs will vary. Some of you will be involved in the physical aspects of getting the lot reconditioned. This will be hot, physical work, but with the right spirit, things should move right along. We will take the necessary breaks and times of encouragement to keep things moving. Others on your team will be responsible for reaching out to and encouraging not only the team, but also the owners of the property that may come by. They are honored guests for the day, and we need to make sure they feel welcome. There will also be members of the team that will put together a short devotional to close out the time with the dedication ceremony. Jobs can be rotated, and it's up to the team leader to direct the group. At the end of the day, tools will be gathered and everyone will join together at the pavilion for the final celebration and the loading of the buses back to Baton Rouge. There's been much planning put into today, but as with all events of this magnitude, we have to be aware of the unexpected surprises. Check in with your team leader if something seems out of sorts. The team leader will be able to contact the command setter and get the info needed to correct the situation. Please be flexible and stay faithful no matter what comes up. Remember, God is in control. There will most likely be media and various officials making the rounds during the day. If you are stopped and asked questions, feel free to give a brief statement, but don't attempt to speak on behalf of Hope Worldwide or ICMC. Just give your personal perspective. Also remember that we all have a job to do and not much time to do it, so don't get caught up in the limelight. There's a good chance it will rain at some time during the day. You will notice that we didn't ask you to bring rainwear, because with the heat and humidity of New Orleans, the rain is usually a welcome relief. You should dry off in no time, and the bus company is okay with us being wet and dirty on the way home. Everyone has been given an A Lot to Give t-shirt. We should all start the day wearing the shirts, and if possible, end the day wearing the same. If you are doing extreme physical work and want to change your shirt, you can step into one of the portable bathrooms to do so. At the end of the day, we'll all be a little hot and sweaty. but all for the good cause and the glory of God. Other things to be aware of. The heat. Do not allow yourself to get dehydrated. Water stations have been set up. Fill up your bottles as much as needed. Drink, drink, drink. Also, use sunscreen and bug repellent as needed. Don't ruin your time at the ICMC with a bad sunburn or bug bites. Health issues. The Red Cross has various stations set up for us around the lower ninth, just for us. Let your team leader know if you're not feeling well or have an injury. Health concerns. A representative from the EPA has approved our project and simply urges us to use common sense regarding safety. The soil that we are working with has no abnormal levels of toxins, and the lower ninth ward is considered safe for this project. You will be given a follow-up sheet with basic advice on the bus ride back to Baton Rouge. Safety on site. If you are not skilled in using certain tools, then please ask for help. Much of our project involves basic labor, but everyone needs to feel good about the tasks that they are asked to perform. Food. You will be provided with a light breakfast on the bus, and lunch will be brought to you at your work site. The bus ride back to ICMC. You will need to ride with your team back to Baton Rouge. Please check the bus number when you get on to make sure it's the right one. Buses will leave on time to be back in Baton Rouge no later than 6 p.m. It's an expensive cab ride back. Don't miss your bus. Please avoid confusion and ride back with the same group that you came with. Follow up. Since doors have been opened up between you and the members of the lower ninth, feel free to follow up in the months ahead. Many of these families feel that they have been forgotten by the rest of the country. A card, a call from you will really make a difference. Also, the city has agreed to water the properties that have been planted with grass seed, as well as take care of the memorial garden. This area is really trying hard to make a comeback, and your service has been vital to moving this effort ahead. Thank you once again for your spirit, your service, and your sensitivity to the citizens of the lower ninth ward. Today will impact the lives of many, and I'm sure that we will all leave New Orleans changed and better for the chance to serve. Enjoy the day, and happy 4th of July.